Yo, 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 yo. Hey, yo, how we feeling, man? How's everything today, guys? How y'all feeling today? Hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up. How y'all feeling, man? How y'all feeling? Hope y'all good, man. Happy, healthy, and safe. Hope everybody is good today. Oh, this is why. Let me close that. How y'all feeling today? Let me see. Let me see. It shouldn't be used by nothing now. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. Video camera. Okay, there we go. Yo, how y'all feeling today, man? How's everybody, man? I hope you guys are happy, healthy, and safe, man. Welcome to When Persona Speaks episode 238. And I know, guys, it's been a minute. It's been a minute. I know, guys. Like, yo, Persona, where the hell have you been? What is going on here? What is going on here, Persona? Where have you been? Hey, yo, listen, man, I appreciate y'all rocking out with your boy, man, chilling with me, man. Coming through, man, today. Yeah, man, it's been a while. It's been a while, man. I'm happy to be back. Happy to be chopping it up with the community, man. We definitely got a lot of great things we're gonna be talking about here today. Before we get into anything, let me know in the chat, how is my voice? Is the sound clear? Is it high quality? Is it crisp? I always want to make sure that I give you guys the most highest quality of content, especially since now I got this brand new Rodecaster Pro Duo, which this thing is a beast. I still haven't even like set everything up like 100% yet, but this thing is supposed to be like a monster. So, I'm trying to make sure the sound quality and everything is good. All right, everybody's saying the sound is good, man. All right, cool. Listen, throw a 1 in the chat if you're feeling great. Throw a 2 in the chat if you're just feeling okay. Throw a 3 in the chat if you're not feeling good at all. But I gotta be honest with you guys. If you are at a 3 by the end of this show, I want to get you to at least a 2. At least a 2. At least. You feel me? So let me know in chat. Oh, I'm seeing the ones. I'm seeing the ones, and they're making me happy. I'm seeing the ones. Okay. 2, 1. I don't see no 3s yet. I don't see no 3s. This is a good sign, man. We're not seeing no 3s. 2, dentist appointment. You know what's crazy? When I was a kid, I used to hate going to the dentist, but now I like it. Like it's I'm not gonna say it's fun, right? I mean, listen, having somebody, carousing your fucking mouth for like for an hour is not fun, but I like the feeling of like getting my teeth cleaned and all that, the routine cleaning and stuff like that they do. That feeling is always really good, man, because no matter how much you brush and floss and mouthwash and all that stuff, it's always good to get that professional cleaning from the dentist every 6 months or every year or whatever. I forget about how long they say you're supposed to do it. But yeah, man, I'm glad everybody's good, man. I'm seeing a lot of 1s, a lot of 2s in the chat. I'm not seeing no 3s as of yet, so that makes me happy. That makes me very happy. Listen, if you're at work, I hope I can get you through your work day. If you're on your way home from work or school or whatever, I hope I can get you through your commute home. Listen, you might be at home, cooking dinner, doing homework with the kids, or cleaning the crib. I hope I can get you through your session. Listen, you might be taking a shower. I don't know. Cleanliness is closer to godliness. Listen, you might be having the maritals with a significant other. I don't know. I just appreciate you putting me on. Listen, guys, it's gonna be a good show today. It's gonna be a good show because we got a lot to talk about. But where are my manners? Hold up, where are my manners, man? I gotta shout out the folks in the chat. Where are my manners? I know y'all like Persona. Listen, it's been a while, guys. So I'm a little discombobulated a little bit. You understand? So forgive me. Yo, Ice Queen in the building. Shout out to you, Ice Queen. Domino Zero in the building. Meiser Gaming News in the building. Gaming since '88 in the building. That person been gaming for a long time. Yo, G Junior, what's going on with you? Gaming Forte in the building. What is going on with you? He says, I have the Rodecaster Pro 2. Wish I would have held out for the Duo since it's much smaller. Yo, love the preamps on that mixer. It's a beast. Yo, listen, Gaming Forte, I love this thing, man. It's crazy. I was going to get the Rodecaster Pro 2 when they first, when they first launched it, but I held out because I was like, I don't really need that many knobs. I didn't really need, that was a little too much for my setup and how I have everything set up. So I was like, let me, I was hoping, I was going to get it. Like, I had it in my cart for a really long time. But I held out because I was like, let me see if, something else smaller might come along, or, I'm really happy with the Go XLR. So, I wasn't really in like a major rush. But when the Duo got announced and then it came out, I was like, oh yeah, it's just as strong, just as powerful as the Rodecaster Pro 2, just a smaller form factor. I'm like, yeah, this is exactly what I need. So 100%. I'm very happy with it. But shout out to Gaming Forte, man. Appreciate you, bro. Gian the Don in the building. Broken Lobo. Kratos 99. Willie Roan. Who else is it? Yo, Philip K in the building. Philip, what's going on with you, bro? Mac the Stampede in the building. Appreciate you, man. Raven in the building. Dre Watson in the building. Shout out to Dre. One third of the High Ground podcast crew every Monday. Shout out to you, Dre, man. Appreciate you, bro. PS Rewind in the building. Leech 1399, Sam Walton in the building. Foxing around. I'm chilling with Austin. I can't do it as good as Barry. Bird in the building. Shout out to my bro Bird in the building. Stardust, Acero, AC, Kerry Howard, Vedger, Diablo, Dark Matter, Cloud Strife in the building. Cloud, what's going on with you, bro? Prime in the building. Shout out to Prime. JC 2013, Big Hardcore Gamer, Philip DVG, Walter, Mike 0508, Corrosive, Black Rob in the building, Jeff B Gaming in the building, J Ro 49 in the building, Lorenzo Carson, The Floyd, Truth Serum in the building. Shout out to y'all, man. I know I appreciate y'all so much, man. Who else is it? Yo, J Gamer UK in the building. Neil Augusto in the building. Shout out to y'all, man, in the chat. Big shout out to y'all in the chat, man. Listen, round of applause for the folks in the chat. Amun Raw 3K in the building. Listen, another round of applause for the folks in the chat. I'm feeling good, man. Another round of applause for the folks in the chat. All right, so, yo, let's be real for a second, guys. I gotta be real with y'all, man. I have to say that, yo, I really do appreciate y'all so much for rocking with me, rocking with my channel, rocking with my content, rocking out with What's Up PlayStation. I know content on the channel has been pretty sparse this past couple weeks. The When Persona Speak show has kind of been, I haven't really done it as much. Part of the reason for that is because, I really wanted to focus on a lot of the great games that's coming, that were releasing, and finishing those games, platinuming those games and stuff like that. And then the other side of it was, I was a little burnt out, man. I'm gonna be honest. I was a little burnt out. Now I'm thinking about it. I was not like super duper burnt out, but I was kind of burnt out, like with the news and stuff like that. I was just like I want to talk about it, but like my passion wasn't there in the moment and whatnot. It's just like I'm burnt out a little bit, man. I really wanted to just get through the games, play the games, and kind of that was it, man. But one thing I'll say is that I definitely appreciate the community, appreciate y'all rocking out with me, rocking out with my content, rocking out with the channel. And y'all know how your boy is, man. Like I appreciate the support and everybody just understanding. Like if I know Persona, he always gonna be there. Just sometimes it might not be when right on time. But I think I definitely wanted to take a break from like social media, take a break from like YouTube, and just kind of just game and chill and relax and recharge. because I definitely felt myself burning out, not with necessarily content creation, just like in general, like a lot of things going on. And I don't want to get too personal and whatnot, but just, a lot of things going on outside of, with work and then, real life stuff and all these other different things. I was burning out a little bit, man. So I was just like, man, I just want to, when I took my 2-week break, I was like, I'm just going to take a break from everything, man, and just kind of chill, just pull back and chill, man, just for a little bit. Even now, like, I'm still on social media and posting and all this other stuff, but I'm just not, I'm not like 100% back with that yet. But I am back, and with everything that's been going on, I know there's quite a bit of news that I've missed, that definitely I wanted to talk about, but I didn't. But we back now, man. We definitely gonna be diving into quite a few things, catching up, man. It's gonna be great to catch up with the community, catch up with all the people that's support me and whatnot. It's a lot of things to talk about, man. You feel me? So I'm glad to be back, man. Me and Barry was still doing WUPs, but then that was kind of like all I was doing. I was like, I do WUPs and kind of just, keep it at that for right now. But, definitely, I'm glad to be back and glad to be, chopping it up and have the Wimp on the Speak show back on Mondays at 5:30. You feel me? So, shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Iman, Rich, the Swag Lord, David, Shamir, King Metro in the building. Shout out to Metro, Steady Flow in the building. Shout out to y'all in the chat, man. Who else is here? Blah 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 in the building. Wolfgang in the building. Brosome. Shout out to y'all, man. Where you been? Hey, man, I kind of been low key, but we back, man. We back, man. We back. Trust me, we back. All right, man. So look, I want to start off by saying this, right? Because I saw something today on Twitter that we was talking about this in a space not too long ago for those that were in the space on Twitter. But I want to talk about this real quick before we get into the ABK stuff and how PlayStation should move and all that stuff. I want to talk about this real quickly with you guys if I can. One of the things that I want to make sure that we all know and understand, and I know it's not necessarily everyone here, but I still want to put that out there with everybody just so that it's understood, right? For me personally, I like to crack jokes. I'll crack my jokes when it comes to, Xbox or play or Nintendo or even PlayStation. I have no problems doing gaming debates, having a back and forth. I think that stuff is, healthy back and forth, not anything that's rude or disrespectful. But healthy back and forths I think are great. Gaming discussions, sometimes gaming discussions can get heated, can get a little high pitched in the voice, right? Depending on who's having the discussions. I don't think there's any issue with that, so long as it's respectful, right? But one of the things that, and for those that have been following me for a really long time, you guys already know how I feel about this. I say this time and time again on my channel. We've talked about this on WUPs. I'm very adamant about this, right? And that is taking this gaming console war stuff or this gaming preference stuff a little too far, right? Regardless of how I feel, and I always, even when I disagree with like people, like journalists or whoever, right? Whenever I'm talking about that stuff, I always state that, I disagree with their gaming opinions. I never try to attack people personally, because that's not my style. I don't do that type of stuff. But I will definitely critique people's gaming opinions. If I think something is dumb as hell, it's dumb as hell. You feel me? But there's certain people in the gaming community and in the gaming space who take things too far, and oftentimes taking those things too far, it can be at the level of like harassment and saying very vulgar things to people, all in the name of like console wars, or because you dislike somebody because of their preference, or because you disagree with their gaming opinion and things like that. Obviously some of that stuff I think is mental health issues. People are socially awkward, don't really know how to communicate with people, don't really know how to communicate with people, or haven't really had too much communication with people in the real world, so they're very socially awkward on the internet. Some of it is just they live in they live and breathe this console war shit, or the tribalism stuff, or whatever you want to call it. It's a little too much, man. And I seen something today with Paris, where, listen, I don't always agree with Paris, right? I know there's people in the community who dislike him and things like that, and that's perfectly fine. Like, you can feel how you feel. I've disagreed with Paris on a number of occasions, and I think that stuff is great, to disagree or have healthy back and forth in discussion. But being disrespectful, saying very vulgar things, harassing people, and not just with Paris, this just goes for anybody, regardless if they're in the industry or just like some regular person on the internet. That stuff I don't rock with, man. And I think that stuff is weirdo shit. I don't condone that stuff, man. Y'all know how I feel, man. And it's just like, yo, listen, we can have this console war stuff. We can have the, you could crack the jokes and all that stuff. Listen, all that stuff is fine. Pointing out things that you may like or dislike about gaming and stuff like that, I love that. Yes, do that. But I think when you take that stuff too far and go this really negative route where it's like almost like hatred, yeah, I can't get on board with that stuff, man. I don't rock with that stuff. People like that I block. I don't interact with those type of people. You feel me? So like, yo, man, listen, I know the emotion is gonna be high with this, what we talk about today too. But listen, man, like, for me personally, I don't hate anybody. I don't hate Xbox. I don't hate Phil Spencer. I don't hate none of these people, man. Like, that's never been me. That's never been my nothing. Like, I don't condone that stuff, man. And so just with the people out there, man, I just hope that with these types of things, we can disagree respectfully, or we can have those conversations respectfully. You could crack the jokes, because I'm about to crack some jokes today. You feel me? I'm about to point out the hypocrisy in this community today on this show. But never gonna be calling anybody out their name. That's all I want to say. You feel me? So do with that what you will. But yo, with that being said, man, yo, Barry in the building, Mary Wilcox in the building, Jacob in the building, MJ, C Fresh. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. No, one more round of applause for the folks in the chat. All right, man. Persona, I just got a PC, bro. Word? That's what's up, man. That's what's up. Yo, what the specs looking like for that thing? Yo, let me get these super chats and the membership messages, man. Yo, Lorenzo, man, appreciate you for the super chat, bro. He says, y'all hit the like button on the way in. Appreciate you. Big shout out to Stardust Zero. 25 months. I'm a little hot in this thing. 25 months as a member on the channel. Yo, Stardust, I appreciate you always. 2 years? Wow. He put the platinum trophies. Put the platinum trophies up there. Big shout out to JRo49. Appreciate you resubbing to the membership, man. Appreciate you, bro. And then for the message, 5 months as a member on the channel. Definitely appreciate you, JRo. Then we got my bro Bari in the building. One of the day one members, 27 months. Bari, you've been subbed to the channel 27 months. You've been a member on the channel for 27 months, Bari? Seriously? Sheesh. Big shout out to my bro Bari. He says, yo, Persona, they don't know that. They don't know what sperm busters was back in the day. What? Yo, they don't know about those, what was those drink? Like those Tropico, them Tropico 50. You talking about they talking about the quarter drinks, the 50-cent drinks. It'd be a 12 ounce. Yo, for those who don't know what sperm busters are. So back in the day, in the delis, they used to have like these 50-cent 12-ounce bottles, like a Coca-Cola bottle size drink. It's like Tropico, or like these weird flavored soda drinks, right? And yo, man, them joints used to be called sperm busters because they kill your sperm. Hey, yo, man, like, yo, they would always say like, don't drink those because they call them sperm busters. Pause. Wow, man, they don't know what's sperm. Yo, I don't know. That might just be like a New York thing. Who knows, right? Yo, Damien, appreciate you, bro. 26 months as a member on the channel. Big shout out to you, bro. He says, Oh snap, we back. Hit the like button, y'all. And a side note, ABK deal isn't the end of the world. PlayStation will continue to be great as always. 100%. 100%, Damien. Listen, we're gonna get into it. 100%. Yo, big shout out to you, Stealth Guy in the building. Shout out to my bro Court in the building. 22 months is a member on the channel. He says, "Sup peeps, reporting from the shadows. Hope y'all having a good day." Yo, shout out to you, Court, man. Stealth Guy, appreciate you, bro, always. Yo, C Fresh, what's good, bro? Heard about that. I heard you. Oh yeah, Mike said I heard that about Mountain Dew. Yo, you know what's crazy? I never been like a big Mountain Dew. I never was a Mountain Dew guy. Yo, Jay Sway, what's good, man? TK, what's good? I never really rock with Mountain Dew like that. Like, you know, when I was drinking soda, Mountain Dew to me always tasted disgusting. Like this really weird lime taste type. I never rock with Mountain Dew ever. Yo, Kratos 99 was good. AC, what up? I was always a Sprite guy. Like if I had to drink like a soda, it would be Sprite. You know, I'm not really big on like Coca-Cola, and let me say the whole thing, Coca-Cola or Pepsi. I never really was too big on that back in the day. Always a Sprite or ginger ale. I mean, yo, listen, I think, you know, especially growing up in a black household, you know, ginger ale was medicine in a black household. You was feeling sick, you know, you was feeling down or whatever. You had like, you know, a stomach problem or you had a cold or something like that. Get you that ginger ale and that Robitussin and go and chill in the bed, man. You feel me? Ginger ale was medicine in the black household, man. Oh man. Yo, listen, folks know in the chat, man, they know. Same, I'm sure in the Latino and like other households as well. I'm sure that was the case too, man. But listen, ginger ale, even today, real talk, like, yo, if I'm sick, I'll get orange juice, I'll get ginger ale, and obviously water, but like ginger ale, orange juice, and I get my medicine and I'm good, man. Yo, yo, 2-3 days, we back at it, man. Yo, that ginger ale, I know it doesn't cure anything, but hey, man, look, it's a staple. I grew up on that. It's a staple in the house. Yo, Stone in the building. Catwoman, what's good with you? Shout out to Stone. Yo, and then Cyber Dragon, appreciate you, man. 27 months as a member on the channel. He says, "Sup, chat mods and the Wimp Persona Speaks podcast. Congrats on that Final Fantasy 16 Platinum." Yo, thank you, Cyber Dragon, man. Appreciate you, man. It was a fun. Yo, Final Fantasy 16 was such a fun, great game. Like, yo, real talk, I know like that game. Like I took off. Like I said, I was on a 2-week vacation from like work and everything. I know life the shit out of Final Fantasy 16, man. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I put like 140 hours in this game. I haven't gamed that hard, like that, like no life status type shit like that in years. It's been like years since I've like really like no life something like to that degree. Like I'm talking like, yo, I was on that shit all day, bro. Like it was crazy, man. Like that was one of my most anticipated games. This Final Fantasy 16, one of my most anticipated games of the year, you know? So I was really on it like heavy, man, like heavy, like an absorbent amount of time was spent on Final Fantasy 16. And I loved every minute of it. Both playthroughs, the regular playthrough and the Final Fantasy mode playthrough. I loved every single minute of it. I did everything in that game twice. I love the game, man. I love that game. My review for it is coming out at the end of this week. I'm gonna really go in depth about it and talk about a few things and whatnot, man. I have gripes as well, don't worry. But as of right now, Final Fantasy 16 from a story and combat perspective is definitely my game of the year, for sure. 100%. But all right, man, let's get into it. Let's get into it, guys. I've stalled long enough. Let's get into what we're going to get into today, man. And I think y'all know what I'm talking about. You feel me? Activision Blizzard will be officially acquired by Microsoft. Let's all bow our heads. Call of Duty is officially dead. The industry has changed forever, and I'm pissed. How could the FTC mess this up? I sent them the playbook. What are we to do? What are we to do? Gaming will never be the same. Ladies and gentlemen, bow your heads. A moment of silence. $70 billion acquisition. One of the biggest publishers in the industry is off the table. My God. PlayStation don't get the money. Microsoft gets the money. Now let me stop playing. Let me chill. Yo, listen. I'm not surprised. This has always been my stance moving into this, right? When Microsoft acquired Bethesda, I already said that, like, yo, PlayStation, and I think I was on 6 podcasts when he was talking about this, where I was saying, like, yo, look, because people were talking about, oh, you know, Starfield's still going to come, and Elder Scrolls, they're not going to give it a, and I was like, listen, even if those games don't come to PlayStation, they own Bethesda, so they technically shouldn't, or they don't have to. You get what I'm saying? You know, it's exclusive. It's exclusive like that. Like, there is no getting around that. Regardless of how you feel, that it is what it is. And I said this about PlayStation, where I said, you know, because, you know, when the Bethesda thing happened, you know, the acquisition talk, well, who does PlayStation need to buy? PlayStation should buy this. PlayStation should buy this. PlayStation should buy the entire industry. And I was like, listen, guys, relax, calm down. Let's pull this back just a little bit, right? PlayStation does not need to move, and I stand by this to this day. PlayStation should make the acquisitions that make sense. But there is a caveat to that, which we'll touch on later. But fast forward now to the Microsoft acquisition, right? When this acquisition was first coming around, when it first got announced, I'm going to be honest, it even shocked the hell out of me. I was like, what? Activision, Blizzard, what? Really? A second publisher, and this time twice, maybe even 3 times the size of Bethesda? And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I'm like, yo, listen, if that goes through, if that acquisition goes through, this is going to spell, we're going to be looking at a very different game industry going forward. Because we're not just talking about PlayStation, Microsoft, PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo at this point. You know, we're talking about the even bigger wigs. You got the Tencents, you got the Embracer Groups, you got the Apples, the Amazons, the Googles, right? You got a lot of big players in the game now, so to speak. So when you're looking at it from that perspective, an acquisition of this size going through, that sets off the green light, you know, for the other ones, where it's like, yo, we're looking at a very different, we're going to be looking at a very different, and in my opinion, a very consolidated game industry going forward, right? And this is something that I was talking about last year. I had a back and forth with Destin Legary. And shout out to Destin. You know, I think he's a cool guy. You know, I don't really have anything against him personally. But I was talking about consolidation and how this is the problem, right? Then you look at which one is it? Sean Layden. Shout out to Sean Layden, where he was speaking on consolidation, you know, a number of times, and that this is where the industry was heading, and consolidation leads to less risk, you know, being made because everything is being more controlled now. So, you know, all those different things, which, listen, when it comes to Activision Blizzard, the acquisition, listen, it's business at the end of the day, right? There's no use crying over spilt milk. There's no use really, really just crying over spilled milk. That's really like the only analogy I can really use in this situation, because it's gonna happen, right? My thing is more so, and you guys know this too. For those that have been following me for a long time, you know how I like to look at this from the business side, but I also like to look at this from the community side of things, right? And I want to talk about the community for a second when it comes to this whole ABK deal. Because listen, Microsoft is doing what they think is best to put themselves in a position to potentially be number one. Right? I don't care what nobody says. I don't care what Phil Spencer says. I don't care what these journalists say or anybody on Twitter. I don't care what none of them are telling you. They want to be number one. Now, it might not be in the console space, but it's going to be elsewhere, right? And the money that the potential revenue and things like that they're generating, once Activision Blizzard is under their belt, that's going to propel them up something serious, right? Microsoft wants to be number one. They want to get your dollars, right? At the end of the day, this is all about money, right? Microsoft is not making this type of investment to play nice, so to speak, right? They're making this investment because they want your money, and they know that there is a large community of people who are willing to spend money on ABK's games, and they will generate for them extras of billions of dollars that puts them in that number one spot. It also bolsters their services, Game Pass and the cloud and all this other stuff, which is what they've been trying to do for the longest. Now, I have the Game Pass argument. I'm gonna save that because I feel like that's a whole show in itself. Just because I feel like, you know what? No, I'm not even going to explain it because it's going to divert from my original thought. So let me stay on target here. Before we even get into the ABK deal, Microsoft and what PlayStation should do, I want to address this community. I want to address the community, right? Because from the community perspective, I think this ABK deal has shined a light on some pretty incredible things. Do you want to know what that is? I'll tell you. Fraudulent behavior, fanboyism, console wars, the very things that people said they hated, they are now participating in since this acquisition was announced. For years.
Well, you know, I gotta be honest with you, okay? I don't really like the console wars that much because it's just a very sloppy thing to partake in, right? Tribalism, right? Everybody's fighting over their favorite plastic box. You understand? I'm better than the console wars. You know, I don't need to really partake in that because I own all the consoles.
That's what we heard. That is what we heard for years. How wrong console wars are, how wrong having allegiance to a plastic box is, how much these companies and corporations don't care about us, which is true. And this is true for Nintendo, PlayStation, and Microsoft and Xbox. They don't really care about you. They care about your money. They're figuring out ways to get your money. That's what they're doing. That's what all three of them are doing. I know PlayStation's not my friends. I know PlayStation. If I was being put out on the street tomorrow, I know PlayStation wouldn't give a rat's ass. I know that. But me and PlayStation have that mutual understanding. You keep putting out great games, I'll keep giving you money. That's how the transaction works. All of this is transactional. That's how it works. If PlayStation keeps putting out the great games, putting out great products, right? Putting the PlayStation gamer first, which, that's another conversation in itself we need to have a conversation about at some point. You'll keep getting my money. That's the relationship. Consumer to merchant relationship. That's it. It doesn't go any higher or any lower. That's the bar. As long as the bar stays there, me as a customer, I'm happy. I'm not looking for PlayStation to, definitely want to talk to PlayStation executives on the What's Up PlayStation podcast. I'm not going to lie there, but I'm not looking for friendship from these people because I know that they're not my friends. I know that they only see me as a potential sale, which as a business owner, it makes sense. I get it. Like I'm not losing sleep over that. It is what it is. My whole thing with this community and why I'm happy this ABK deal has shined a light on this is that it's shined a light on the hypocrisy of the community. And I'm not just talking about the immediate community that we all may congregate in. I'm talking about the greater gaming community of some of these journalists, influencers, just some of these, just in general, of the hypocrisy and the tribalism that a lot of them themselves have. The very things that they condemned you for when it comes to having that preference and loving exclusives, right? Exclusives is a perfect example. How many articles, how many podcasts, how many tweets have you seen of people condemning PlayStation of having exclusives, exclusive games, exclusive content, timed exclusives? Gaming is for everyone. Remember what Phil Spencer said. Remember what Philip Bartholomew J. Spencer said. When everybody plays, we all win. That was the mantra. That was what a lot of people were running with on social media. That was what a lot of people were running with in podcasts. Exclusives are anti-consumer. Exclusives are anti-competition. Exclusives don't matter because the third-party games is what sells the most. This is what people were telling you, me, and everybody for years. Once the Bethesda deal went through, they backtrack.
Well, some exclusives are good. I mean, some exclusives are good. PlayStation's already getting these exclusives, so this is the only way Microsoft could compete.
That's what they told you. Okay. Fine. It's business. Fine. You're right. Exclusives matter. Is that what you're confirming? So a lot of people confirm. Fast forward to now. We know that the ABK deal is going through. It is what it is. It's business. And I mean this sincerely. And I'm somebody, and this is the crazy thing, right? a lot of people that have been championing, I can't even talk. A lot of people that have been championing this deal do not play the Activision games. They don't play the CODs. They don't play the Diablos, the Warcrafts, the Candy Crush. They don't play these games, right? So when you ask yourself, and really sit back and ask yourself, because this is something I ask myself. You know, it's funny. Me and Barry have actually had this conversation. We've talked about this, like, you know, a couple times throughout from last year to now. We've definitely talked about this. But sit there and really ask yourself, why, if for someone who does not play games from this publisher, why are you so happy? And see, don't fall for the Jedi mind trick of, well, because more people get to play these games. What? Excuse me? What are you talking about? But this is great for gamers. What are you talking about? More people get to play these games. Who couldn't play COD now that wanted to? And do not give me, oh, well, Nintendo. No. Nintendo and their fans do not give a damn about Call of Duty. Call of Duty hasn't been on the Nintendo platform since Ghost back in 2014. Nintendo fans ain't been clamoring saying, well, Nintendo, when are you going to bring Call of Duty back to the Nintendo platform? They don't care. So don't give me that, oh, well, what about Nintendo? Nintendo doesn't care. They're an anomaly. They're an anomaly. I don't have, I'm still building out my soundboard, guys, so I don't have all my sounds yet. They're an anomaly. In this situation, Nintendo's an anomaly. Put them to the side. They don't matter. Who could not play COD that like right now? Who could not? It's on Steam, which is the largest PC platform, or excuse me, PC store on PC. It's on PlayStation. It's on Xbox. Who couldn't play? Don't tell me you talking about these fly-by-night ass, brick and mortar ass cloud services that ain't nobody hear about till 6 months ago. I hope you ain't talking about that. An NVIDIA Shield? That what you talking about? Fuck out of here. Who couldn't play it? See, and the thing is, I'm gonna look at the chat in a second. I'm flowing right now, so I don't wanna lose my train of thought. The thing is that a lot of people that are using that excuse of, oh, more people get to play the games, ask them next time somebody says that to you, say, like who? And I guarantee you they're gonna say Nintendo. Nintendo doesn't count. They don't exist. Nintendo fans don't care about Call of Duty. Next. So we now killed that argument. Why are you so happy for the acquisition of a publisher, of publishers whose games you do not play? And I asked myself this a couple times. Once I arrived to the conclusion of my answer, this is when I stopped debating people about and really stopped talking about this ABK shit. Because at that point, it was getting annoying anyway. And I was just like, listen, man, I already know why. Even if they won't tell me why, I know why. And it makes me going back and forth with you pointless, right? The reason why is simple. I think you know where I'm going with this. Ladies and gentlemen, I think you know where I'm going with this. Why do you think they're so excited for this acquisition, despite them not playing Activision, ABK, Activision Blizzard's games. Why do you think that is? I'll spell it out for you. Fanboys. Tribalism. Console warriors. Anything that makes PlayStation look bad or hurts PlayStation makes them happy, and they will get on board. I don't care who it is. I don't care who it is. That's the only conclusion. Because you don't really care about the developers. Because, you'll have a lot of people, which I think this is quite disgusting. Like, I've talked about this before, but people who use this argument, I think, are absolutely disgusting people, right? Because then they're using the argument of, oh, well, little Timmy and little Sally, what about the person that can't afford to put food on the table? If somebody can't afford to put, ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you a question. Please answer this for me, ladies and gentlemen. If little Billy, let's say you're on hard times, right? You got a kid, little Timmy, little Billy, little Timmy, little Sally. You can't make ends meet. You can't even pay the goddamn rent. Are you thinking about Game Pass? Or are you thinking about where you're going to get your next meal? Or are you thinking about how you're going to keep a roof over your head? Or are you working 2 or 3 jobs to support the family and keep the family afloat? What are you doing? Are you waiting in line to get a fucking Xbox Series S and Game Pass for little Timmy and little Sally? Or are you waiting in the grocery line to get them their next meal? But little Timmy and little Sally, stop using that argument. That shit's absolutely disgusting. Stop using that argument. So my whole thing is, when it comes to the community of this whole ABK deal, they truly showed their true colors of being the console warring tribalist fanboys that they try to paint everybody else to be. Thanks Microsoft. Thanks Activision. You've shined a light on the rabid fanboyism that runs through this community. Thank you. They don't play the games. And see, here's the thing. Me and Bari, we were talking about this on Saturday's episode of What's Up PlayStation podcast. We really and truly, we could have had a whole podcast based on this. When me and Bari were talking about our dislikes when it comes to Modern Warfare 2, going in depth when it comes to the guns, the maps, the movement, mechanics, and all these other different things. Oh, I did turn off the background music. Thanks for letting me know. Shout out to you, Kieran. Thank you. And the thing is, I know that I can talk to Bari for like hours about Call of Duty, and I know that he is experienced in the genre and in the game as well. To have that, we can have that conversation. Looking at a lot of these people throughout the year, last year going into this year, hearing people talk about ABK and these games, they ain't even played Diablo, they not playing COD, they ain't played Spyro, they didn't play Crash, they didn't play none of these games. What type of conversation can you have? And y'all know how I am. My mantra now, my whole thing now is I'm not having any type of debate or conversation with someone who has not played the game that we're talking about. I won't do that. Not anymore. The first thing I ask anybody before I have a discussion about a game, like say we talk about Final Fantasy 16, and somebody comes in and said, well, I didn't like Final Fantasy 16 because I thought the combat was too easy. Or I didn't like Final Fantasy 16 because I thought Clive and Jill's relationship was whack. Or I didn't like Benedict, whatever, right? Before we even have that conversation, the first question I'm asking you is, did you play the game? not the demo. Did you actually play the game? If they say no, bye bye. I'm not having that conversation, man. Well, you know, I watched somebody stream. Come on. Oh boy, what a day, what a week, what a year and a half it's been, guys. You know, I want to hear the background music while I talk too. What's it called? Main music. Main music. Turn it up a little bit. So that's my whole thing, man. I love that background music, man. So that's my whole thing. Yo, shout out to Gian and Dom, man. I appreciate you. 10 months as a member on the channel. Gian, you know I appreciate you so much, bro. Always. He says, the ABK deal revealing the true colors of these neutral gamers. Glad you got the rest and time away to relax and welcome back. Thank you, Gian. I appreciate you, bro. Always, man. And yeah, man, the neutral gamers got exposed. They're in the light now. Because why are you so excited? That's my question. Why are you so excited? If you don't play these games, why are you so excited? That's my question. And anytime you ask that, no one can truly answer that. They give you this very PR tired, well, you know, now more people get to play, or, you know, now, you know, PlayStation can stop locking things away. And I'm like, yo, I was saying this to, I don't know, I think I was saying this to Dre and, I forgot who I was saying. I might have been Dre and Barry, I forget. But I was like, yo, you realize that a lot of this disdain that people have towards PlayStation and its PlayStation and its developers, or not developers, but PlayStation and like the deals they're making, is because PlayStation is getting like an exclusive operator or exclusive gun camo. Do you realize that? Do you realize that the anger that people had is over frivolous shit like that? Oh, well, I think it's wrong that, you know, in Call of Duty, PlayStation gets a Ghost of Tsushima inspired operator and I can't. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Really? Like, really? So we're just going to forget the decade or the generation that Microsoft was doing 30 days early on Call of Duty map packs back during the 360 gen, right? What are we talking? An exclusive operator? Really? That's where a lot of this disdain comes from. Shit like that. And I can't wrap my mind around it because I'm just like, there's no way people are this angry because of stuff like that. There's no, I refuse to believe it. Then I actually saw it. I saw it on podcasts. I saw it in spaces. I saw it on the timeline. And I'm like, wait a second. People are really mad because of this? Really? Because PlayStation is getting an exclusive double XP? Really? This is the thing. I said this a couple of times. The anger that people had for PlayStation was misplaced, and that should have been redirected to Microsoft. Uh-oh. Did I touch a nerve? Uh-oh.
But this is great for gamers.
Did I touch a nerve? I'm sorry. We got to speak the truth. All this time, the anger, I feel, was misplaced. It should have always been placed on Microsoft. And I'm not saying attacking them. I'm saying demanding better. That's always been my stance. Demanding better. I don't want Microsoft, I don't want Xbox to go away. I don't hate Xbox, but I do demand better. I expect better. Now, shout out to Barry, man. Barry, I appreciate you for the $5 super chat. Shout out to my bro, other half of the What's Up PlayStation podcast. Barry says, COD is dead, don't support it. We about to get into that, man. We about to get into that, trust. Yo, Leech, that's what I'm saying. Demanding better equals hating, which is not true. That's not true, man. And I know I'm not saying that's what you're saying. I'm saying that's what my argument has always been. Now, obviously, now we see Microsoft, they stepping it up, man. They see PlayStation's locking out timed exclusive deals. So what are they doing? They're outright buying these studios or publishers. That's what they're doing. They got the wallet. They got the money for it. Now, listen, this is my thing with this whole ABK thing. It's going to go through, right? Like I said earlier in the show, there's no point in crying over spilt milk. There's no point in, it is what it is, man. Like, this is the way the industry is moving. Straight up. I know for a lot of us that have been gaming since the 80s and 90s and whatnot, I know this is a bit jarring. But I think for anybody that understands how business works, this is business at play here. It is what it is, right? It is what it is. My argument and my stance when it comes to these acquisitions is all, and this, and you can even go back last year. This has always been my stance. My stance is this. Microsoft does not have a proven track record of successfully handling the studios that they have. Hear me out. Listen. I know there's some Xbox dudes in here that,
well, Persona, you don't know what you're talking about. Persona, you're just a PlayStation fan.
Relax. Calm down. And just listen to what I'm saying. Calm down. My worry with Microsoft, because listen, just because you have the money doesn't mean you have to spend it. What, for those of us that grew up, around our with grandparents and whatnot, right? Or even your parents, you ever like get your allowance? Remember getting your allowance as a kid? For those who might have got an allowance, you ever got like your allowance and you went to go run and spend it like on a game or spend it in the store or whatever, and like your parents would say you don't have to spend all your money in one place, or you don't have to spend all your money as soon as you get it. My parents used to say that to me a lot growing up. Whenever, because my mom used to give me an allowance, my grandmother used to give me an allowance. I used to want to buy sneakers and go out and do this, and I used to want to do all this crazy shit, right? And I remember my parents would always tell me, "Yo, Persona, you don't have to always spend your money as soon as you get it. You need to learn how to save your money." That's something my mom said that a lot, but my grandmother used to say that. My grandmother used to say that to me a lot. My grandmother and my uncle used to always tell me, like, "Yo, whenever you get money, don't spend it right away. Like, save your money, save your money, save your money." And like that's always been instilled in me, like growing up into my adulthood, is as soon as you get your money, how some people in today's time, as soon as they get paid at their job, they spending it on like a new purse or a new sneakers, or they eating out or whatever, and then like by the end of the week or the next week, their check is gone, and it's like, damn, now they broke again or whatever. Like, managing your money, not having to spend all your money as soon as you get it. So, and I appreciate my parents and the older generations that I grew up around for instilling that type of thinking into me, because it's helped me a lot in life, honestly. But in this situation with the ABK deal, we know that Microsoft has the money. This is a $2.5 trillion company. We know they've got the bread. We know that they could spend that bread. You feel me? We know. Nobody on this earth is going to say that Microsoft ain't got that bread, that they ain't got that spread, that they ain't got them dollars. No one's going to say that. But I will say this. Just because you have the money doesn't mean you need to spend it. Hear me out, because I promise you it's all going to come full circle. Yo, Chips and Sticks, what's good, bro? Yo, Blue Mustang, what's good, bro? Jimmy Harrison, what's good, bro? Microsoft Microsoft reminds me of like a trust fund kid. You ever like see like those trust fund kids in movies where they never really had to work for anything, or they kind of have like that silver spoon, like they're very entitled because they got all this money, and all those other things, and so they kind of spend very frivolously because they don't really understand the hard work that goes into the money, accumulating the amount of money that they got. It was handed to them, so they don't really know or understand the effort that it takes to accumulate that. Now, obviously, in Microsoft's case, that's not necessarily the case when it comes to understanding the effort that goes into it. But in the reason why I use the trust fund kid analogy for Microsoft is because Microsoft is somebody that has a lot of money, and they could spend a lot of money and make a lot of money back. Just because you can spend that amount of money doesn't necessarily mean you have to. Now, I think in this situation with the ABK deal, it is what it is. It's business. But looking at the track record of Microsoft, my worry has always been the handling of the studios, right? When you look at their track record and how successful, or I should say unsuccessful, they've been with the handling of their current studios, and even the handling of their most recent acquisition with Bethesda, that is where my worry comes into play when I'm looking at Activision, right? Because people aren't looking at the management. People are looking at the dollars. And again, Microsoft is someone with the money. So if Microsoft is willing to pay the price that people are asking to be acquired, it doesn't they're not looking, for a lot of people, they're not looking at, well, the management, how well are they going to manage the studio? They're just looking at, okay, I'm about to make a big payday. See ya. And for a lot of gamers, for a lot of us gamers, we feel the blunt of that blowback of mismanagement, right? Now, I'm not saying that Microsoft can't get their act together or that they're not working to get their act together now. I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying is there isn't a proven track record as of right now that says that this acquisition of Activision is going to be in good hands under Microsoft, because for the past couple of years, their mismanagement has been so what's the word I'm looking for? Their mismanagement has been so apparent. It's been so in your face. It's been so visible that it, to me, especially someone that really loves Call of Duty, that really loves the, I even though, like, listen, my Call of Duty has definitely been on the extreme decline for quite some time. I'm always vocal about that, which is crazy because a lot of people, it's funny because a lot of people that don't follow my content or don't know me or haven't been following me for very long, they see me shitting on like Modern Warfare 2 and they think, oh yeah, I'm hating on Modern Warfare 2 because Microsoft owns Activision. I'm like, no. Any bad Call of Duties, I'm always vocal about it being bad. I shitted on Vanguard. I was getting at Cold War when it first dropped. My World War II, I was getting at that when it first dropped before they fixed it. I'm always critical of the things that I love, right? Because I think it's important to be critical in order to see the improvements in something that you enjoy. I enjoy Call of Duty. I love first-person shooters, especially Call of Duty, right? Call of Duty is always going to have that special place in my heart when it comes to franchises that I have experienced throughout my gaming life, right? And so when I'm looking at Microsoft and looking at how much they fumbled the bag already when it comes to managing, or I should say the ball, not the bag, fumbled the ball when it comes to managing, when it comes to having the foresight to determine maybe we shouldn't release this, or maybe this should sit in the oven for a little bit longer before we release this. Maybe we should delay this. That is where my worry comes into play. When it comes to the money, I'm not worried. I'm worried about the management. And like I said, these things can, and I'm sure they will improve, but this is what I'm looking at when it comes to the acquisitions in this industry and the people who are getting them, is how are these games, these franchises, these studios, these developers, how is that stuff going to affect me as a gamer? You get what I'm saying? And I think under Microsoft, that is something that is very worrisome to me. Right? Listen, Microsoft is buying them, man. Like that ship has sailed. That argument going back and forth about that, like, that's not my argument, right? Because again, business is business, money is money, right? There's no use crying over spilt milk. There's no use, and that's not my argument or my concern, right? Obviously, consolidation, which is something that I stand by as a big concern within the industry, as somebody that loves gaming, has been gaming since for almost 3 decades now. You feel me? That is where my concern is, like, really and truly, that consolidation. But since that door has already been opened, you gotta walk through it. You gotta walk through it. Right? And Microsoft being one of the big players in that has the money to buy these things, but doesn't have the management potential, at least as of right now, to manage the things that they're buying, is what concerns me. That I stand by that to this day, until proven otherwise. And listen, I hope Microsoft proves me wrong with that, but that's where my stance is today. Especially looking at the state of Call of Duty right now, Modern Warfare 2 is dog ass. It's dog ass. Like, it's to the point now, you can't even find a match. Like, yo, when me, Bari, Dre, Metro, what was it, yesterday? Yeah, yes, last night, me, Bari, Dre, Metro, Stone, and MJ trying to play. It's a Sunday night. We all just want to, run some matches, have some laughs, get some kills, and, just chill. You can't even find a match because the service is messed up. And it's been this way for 2 weeks or a week and a half. Since this new season, this has happened, and it still hasn't been fixed. Now, under Microsoft, are they going to whip that into shape and ensure that stuff like that doesn't happen, or doesn't happen as often, or is fixed? The turnaround time for fix is quicker. Are they going to give, up the amount of people that are there now to ensure that turnaround time could be quicker? Who knows? Microsoft will run Activision. Yo, Jenna Hayes, what's good? Lionel, what's good? Persona, Sony was even making fun of them in the emails. There's no way they fit them. Hey, yo, we gonna talk. Yo, I'm saving PlayStation for last because I'm gonna get at them. Jenna Hayes, what's good? She said, Persona, Microsoft will run Activision into the ground. What Sony needs to do is create their own military shooter using the Decima engine. Killzone had better animations than COD. So, I got like a headache, guys. I got a really bad headache. Here's the thing about that, right, Jenna? Call of Duty is a staple. It's an anomaly. It's an outlier. It's a franchise that has dwarfed both the shooting genre, but also the gaming industry. It's a culture. It's pop culture. That's what Call of Duty is now. Pop culture. Oh, it's a big part of it's a part of pop culture. And when you look at Call of Duty's success, when you look at the gameplay, when you look at how it is, replicating that, I think, is very difficult for anybody, not just PlayStation. I think anybody, right? Even Battlefield crashed and burned, and they were of all these first-person shooters, they were the closest to getting they were the closest to having something competent enough to be on that level of a COD, right? Even though I personally don't really rock with Battlefield, that's not really my jam. I do acknowledge that Battlefield would have been one of the franchises, and it was at one point where I feel like Battlefield and COD were definitely button heads back there in like maybe the PS3 gen. You know, you had Bad Company 2, you had Battlefield 3, and you know, you had COD, Modern Warfare 2, World at War, and all these other different things, right? There was stuff there, I feel like, where like they kind of were going back and forth. But then I don't know, man, like Battlefield just fell off a cliff. Like that shit just, it crashed and burned like something bad, man. And Call of Duty, even COD, even the worst Call of Duty is better than the best Battlefield, in my opinion. Like in terms of sales, when you look at the sales and all that other stuff, even the worst selling COD is selling better than the best Battlefield. You feel me? So when you look at the amount of money and effort that goes into that, something to challenge Call of Duty, I'm gonna be honest, man. I feel like with COD the way it is now, or Halo as well. You're right, JC. Halo was really high up there too. It was Halo, Battlefield, COD. Those were the three. Halo, Battlefield, COD were definitely the three big wigs of the console first-person shooter genre for a long time. Halo crashed and burned. You feel me? Now Battlefield crashed and burned. COD still standing. COD still breaking records. COD still selling. COD is still a major force within the gaming industry. COD is still a major force within pop culture. That's it. And so I think building something to replicate that is going to be very tough. It's going to cost a lot of money. I think it can be done, but I don't know. And I'm looking at this from PlayStation's perspective and just really anybody else in the industry. I don't know if anybody in the industry wants to take that money, that financial plunge to try to build something that could rival it or be better than it because of the risk of losing that much money, right? Imagine dropping $1 billion to build a new franchise that could stand the test of time with COD, and then it doesn't work out. You can kill an entire company off that. $1 billion loss? A lot of companies are looking at that and saying, hell no. Hell no. I'm good. And this is what, True Bleed was good. And this is what puts Microsoft in a very unique position. Because Microsoft has two of the biggest publishers, or well, not the biggest, but two very prominent publishers within the industry under their belt. This puts Microsoft in a very unique position where they're locking down major genres in the industry. Now it's under Microsoft, where they got that money flowing in. They've got say so on how things should be made or how things should work, and they're reaping the financial benefits of all that money. COD is still going to be a moneymaker, when it goes under Microsoft. Let me say it like this. Microsoft would really have to fuck up bad to really fuck up a COD where it's not making money. You feel me? Where it's not selling the 10 to 15 million every year that it sells. Like, you really would have to deliberately try to mess that up, right? And I really think at this point, the only person that can kill COD is COD, or Activision, I should say. They would have to really royally mess up, because even the worst Call of Duty, which I think Modern Warfare 2 is the worst Call of Duty I think it's even worse than Vanguard, and Vanguard for me was terrible. I think this is the worst Call of Duty I have ever played in my life, and I've played every single COD, every single Call of Duty, and I think this is the worst COD I've ever played. But I still play it, and a lot of people still play it, and it's still sold quite a bit. And my gripes with it are more so from a fundamental standpoint. You know, I think the guns are cool and stuff like that, but I think from a Call of Duty fundamental, there's a lot of things missing from this COD, which makes it the worst COD for me personally. With that, but I think when it comes to rivaling that, yeah, I think you'll have something that can be extremely popular, but rivaling a Call of Duty, I think that's gonna be pretty tough. But this is the position Microsoft is in. They got two very prominent publishers within the industry, and they're in a unique position where they can become number one off of having these two publishers under their belt. And my thing is, I don't think Microsoft will stop because you got to think of it this way: the largest acquisition in history, $70 billion, just got approved pretty much unanimously, or is on the verge of being approved or being pushed through pretty much unanimously from the entire world of people who are responsible for regulating this stuff. What's to stop Microsoft from turning around and saying, okay, now we want to spend $15 billion and grab EA? Well, you can't do that. Why not? You just approved our $70 billion deal. How is that okay, but this is not? Now we want to, you let us have EA, thanks. Now we want to grab Ubisoft. That's only $8 billion. But you just bought this. But what about our $70 billion deal? You okay with that? What's to stop you? Persona, you don't think Fortnite rivals COD? No. I think Fortnite is as popular, and I think Fortnite is also in pop culture and all that stuff. But I think from a revenue standpoint, I think COD is making more money. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, somebody correct me. It's very popular though. Fortnite is extremely popular. Extremely popular. And I feel like COD most likely edges it out just a little bit. I could be wrong. I could be wrong on that. I could be wrong. But even if Fortnite does, that's not something owned by PlayStation. That's on everything. So yo, Scott Free, what's good, man? He says, if Disney buys Fox, I don't see regulators allowing them to buy WB as well. I could be wrong on that. Well, maybe. I think Fortnite definitely rivals COD. Does it? Persona, what do you think about the Take-Two Interactive? Me personally, I don't want Take-Two to be acquired. I don't know. I can see Disney buying Marvel. WB. Why not? Making movies and shit for both sides. Barry's right about that. Fortnite is such a threat. COD copied this Battle Pass formula. Fair enough. That's fair. I'll give you that. Listen, Fortnite is very popular. Corey, what's good, bro? Corey says Fortnite is way bigger than COD already. Fortnite is the biggest shooter in the world. Is it really? I stand corrected then. All right, so then Fortnite. There you go. Free to play Fortnite. Free to play Fortnite. Y'all got it. All right, listen. All right, look. Round of applause to the chat, man. All right. Damn, man, the chat about to beat my legs in. All right, man, y'all got it. Y'all got it, man. Fortnite rivals COD. Y'all got it. But that's not owned by PlayStation, so, you know, it serves PlayStation none, in my opinion. Y'all got it, though, man. Y'all about to beat my legs in. Chat packed your ass. Yo, boy, that's a fact. The chat packed me up, bruh. They said, Persona, we not about to have you out here looking crazy. You are crazy. My fault, chat. No, another round of applause for the folks in the chat, man. Hey, man, y'all got it. Hey, yo, man, the chat just bullied the hell out of me. Y'all got it, man. Y'all got it, man. Chill. Y'all got to beat my legs in, man. Y'all don't got to beat my legs in, man. Y'all got it. Nah, I don't see Sony acquiring. If Sony would acquire anything, they would just acquire Epic. But let's get into the PlayStation side of things, right? Because we talked about Microsoft, we talked about the community side, we talked about the acquisition, my worries. Let's get into PlayStation. So, all right, everything's happened, right? We know the acquisition's going through. We saw that PlayStation has also signed a binding contract with a 10-year deal to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation. We don't know the particulars of the contract. We don't know what the splits are. I would assume the splits is 30 90. I mean, excuse me, 37. I can't do math. 30-70, right? So I would assume that's what the splits are. I could be wrong. But we informed you, good sir. Absolutely, absolutely. Knowledge is power. Absolutely. They definitely, the chat definitely kept me honest. I appreciate y'all. Shout out to the chat, man. Listen, I'm a PlayStation fan too.
I'm a PlayStation fan too. I'm a PlayStation fan too.
I'm a PlayStation fan too, man. All right, so PlayStation signed a contract, which pretty much means, you know, like, that's pretty much the nail in the coffin of, yeah, this deal is going through. It's done. It's done. Like, that's it. You feel me? So they signed a 10-year contract, binding agreement for Call of Duty to remain on PlayStation platforms. I mean, you know, I'm gonna be honest with you, man, and this is not me trying to save face or be cocky, but Microsoft would be stupid as fuck if they were to cut PlayStation out of Call of Duty. You know how much revenue that's being taken off the table? A lot of that revenue is what is putting this deal at such a high price anyway. Obviously, because of, you know, King and all that other stuff. I'm not trying to say it's all because of PlayStation, because it's not. But majority of Call of Duty's revenue comes from PlayStation. So to cut PlayStation out of that would be like cutting off your nose to spite your face. Microsoft would be idiots to do that, in my opinion. And I think Microsoft knows that, which is why I think for Jim Ryan, yeah, he was fighting to you know, he was saying what he was saying last year about, you know, not wanting the deal to go through because of XYZ and this, that, and third, which I you know, I understand and I agree with. But obviously, you know, it is what it is. Business, money prevailed. You know, it is what it is. But at the same time, I do think that Jim Ryan knew in the back of his mind, we're not going to lose this right away because there's too much money being made with this game on our platform. But I also think on the other side of things, for PlayStation, this is good too, because they still got that revenue of COD that's going to be going to them as well, right? So, you know, 10 years, and it might get extended, it might get renegotiated, or hell, in 10 years, COD might be gone, it might be another shooter that replaces it. But I'm gonna be honest, people have been saying that for years. Like, oh yeah, you know, COD is gonna die soon, and COD is not as big as it used to be, and COD is dying, and people are moving away to other this and that. And COD is still here, man. If 15, 20 years, COD is still here. when is it gonna die? You know, like people keep saying COD is gonna die off. When? In another 15, 20 years? Like, come on. So they locked that down. No brainer. But when it comes to PlayStation, there's still a big question, and this always happens around acquisition time, where acquisition talks and stuff like that.
PlayStation should acquire this. PlayStation should acquire that. PlayStation should buy Take-Two.
All this other stuff, right? Here's my thing. When it comes to PlayStation, with PlayStation is very different. It's very unique, right? Because PlayStation makes some of the best looking games, or the best games in the industry, in my opinion, right? They have some of the most talented developers and studios in the industry, in my opinion, right? But where we're at in the game, in the gaming industry, it's IP wars. Pause. It's IP wars, right? PlayStation, and this is something that I've always remained adamant on, and I said this earlier in the show. I think PlayStation should make acquisition. First of all, people who are saying PlayStation doesn't need to make an acquisition, sit the fuck down. You don't know what you like no. like yo, this shit is crazy. Like no, PlayStation absolutely needs to make acquisitions. Absolutely. 100%. Now, I'm not saying they need to be super ambitious and drop half the bank for Take-Two, right? But I do think that PlayStation should, and I think they are, still actively fielding studios and acquisitions and things like that make sense, right? They absolutely need to do what makes sense for PlayStation. They do need to acquire certain things and certain things that make sense. But I do think that with PlayStation, they need to acquire at least one publisher. At least one, right? I'm not saying it needs to be Take-Two or they need to break the bank, but I do think that PlayStation needs to lock down one publisher. Who that is, me personally, I would want it to be Square or Capcom, per se. The reason why I'm not saying Take-Two is because I don't think Take-Two is in a position where they don't need to be acquired. Take-Two is still making hundreds of millions of dollars off GTA 5, which is a game that released on PlayStation 3. GTA 6 is going to break the bank. Then they got 2K. Take-Two ain't looking to be bought. Take-Two is saying, nah, we good over here. We don't need you. And if anybody is approaching Take-Two, they're gonna laugh their ass out the meeting room. Like, bro, do you see the profits we're pulling in? No. I don't want to share that with you. I don't want to be under you. So I don't see Take-Two being bought, personally. I could be wrong. They might get an offer where it's $100 billion or some shit like that, right? I think Take-Two is valued at what, like 25 billion? 26? I don't know. I just don't see nobody grabbing Take-Two. Like, Take-Two's in a position where they don't need anybody. They don't. Their profits are good. Profits is high. They're making a lot of money. I just don't see that happening. So I'm not even going to entertain that bullshit and say, oh, PlayStation should buy Take-Two. Nah. But I do think that PlayStation needs to lock down one publisher, and I think Square and Capcom makes the most sense. The brand, the strength of the IPs under Square and or Capcom are very strong. They resonate with a lot of fans. They also have IPs that are captivated a lot of new fans as well. Capcom, in terms of Capcom, you know, you got the Resident Evil series, you got the Monster Hunter series, Mega Man, and all these other franchises, strong franchises that are really strong under Capcom. And in Square Enix's case, you know, that Japanese game strength is very strong. Like RPG strength with Square is very strong, and I'm not just talking Final Fantasy. You know, when you look at some of their older RPGs, like the old school Final Fantasy games, the Dragon Quest, what else? Octopath franchise, the Chrono franchise. Like, you know, they got a lot of older IPs as well that I think if PlayStation were to put money behind that, resurrect that stuff, you know, they can definitely lock that down. From Software, let me not even go down that route. Here's my thing with PlayStation. PlayStation needs to, and I said this with Bethesda, and I'm gonna say this with Activision. PlayStation needs to lock down a corner of the industry that becomes a cornerstone for them. PlayStation already has the single player genre on lock, in my opinion. They make some of the best single player games in the industry. They make some of the most beautiful games in the industry. They have one of the best game engines in the industry with the Decima engine, in my opinion. They are in, and then we see them tackling this games as a service thing, which remains to be seen when it comes to the success of that. But I do think that PlayStation needs to lock down a corner of the industry and just hunker down. We got this publisher that's with us or partner with us, whatever. We got one of the best FPS genre developers in the industry, one of the most decorated FPS genre creators in the industry with Bungie, right? They own Bungie, right? To have that talent, that knowledge and that know-how when it comes to making games and stuff like that and making first-person shooters, that's a big get for PlayStation that I think it puts them in a very unique position, right? But I do think that PlayStation needs to lock down a corner of the industry, or become like that cornerstone piece where they can either have Capcom or Square or something like that and lock that down. I know people keep saying, well, why should they buy Square when they're already getting a lot of their games exclusive? Because you can't, and I said this earlier to Wooly, you can't, just because, and yes, PlayStation has a very strong relationship with a lot of studios and developers and all those. They have very strong relationships, but money is a key killer to relationships. Sick is in the chat. Where's Sick at? Yo, shout out to Sick in the building, man. Appreciate you, bro. Shout out to No Cap Podcast, man. Big shout out to No Cap, man. My boy Sick. Shout out to my bro Sick, man. Sick said, what'd he say? Where is it at? I just missed it. ABK didn't need to be acquired. No, they didn't. You're right. They didn't need to be acquired because they were making a lot of money, which is why I'm saying, yo, money. If somebody is coming to them, like going back to and I'm sure Sick is probably referring to the Take-Two. It's what I was saying about Take-Two. Listen, money will have anybody saying, yeah, sure. If somebody approaches Take-Two with the right price, I'm sure Take-Two will happily take that and keep it pushing. You feel me? So you're absolutely right about that. I just don't see Take-Two making it easy for somebody to acquire them because they don't need to be acquired. Now, if somebody is coming to them with a higher price, asking price, or price, not asking price, but coming with a price that is too good to refuse, then sure, absolutely, I can see them being acquired. But I don't see Take-Two putting themselves out there to say, hey, hi, Take-Two's here as well. You know, we're going to be acquired as well. I don't see them doing that like how Ubisoft was doing that. You know? I just don't see that happening. Now, is it impossible? Absolutely not. I just don't see that happening, right? But I do think that with PlayStation, you know, like, people saying, oh, well, you know, why should they buy Capcom or Square when they've got great relationships? Yes, they do have really great relationships. Absolutely true. They do have great relationships, but money is the key killer of all relationships. You feel me? If somebody came to Square and say, hey, 40 billion, we'll acquire you, and I'm just throwing numbers out there, but 40 billion, you come be under our belt. You think Square going to say no because, oh, well, we have a stronger relationship with PlayStation? I don't think so. I don't believe that they would. And I wouldn't want to leave that to chance. So I would rather lock down what I know I can get at a great price and have a great relationship and build off of that. And listen, one publisher, lock that down. Listen, and this may hurt some PlayStation fans' ears, but we have to be honest here. You got to be honest. PlayStation ain't got money like Microsoft. They don't. If you talk about going purchase for purchase, PlayStation is going to lose that battle. I wouldn't even want to put PlayStation in that position. Now, PlayStation has a lot of influence in the industry, which is going a long way, which is funny because this is what's forcing Microsoft's hand to buy these studios, because PlayStation's influence within the industry is so strong. So PlayStation does have that going for it. PlayStation's influence within the industry is so strong that it has forced Microsoft to spend almost $100 billion just to compete. Keep that in your mind. Never forget that. PlayStation has a lot of influence, but influence only goes but so far. And when you have big wigs in the game like Amazon, Google, Apple, Microsoft, and all these other people that's got deeper pockets than PlayStation, that influence is only going to take you so far to where you need to start making certain purchases to lock things down. And I'm not just talking about timed exclusive deals. Those obviously still happen, but I think one publisher, listen, I'm not greedy, one publisher, lock that in and just keep buying, keep, locking, getting the smaller dev teams. Like I know Arrowhead was teased, or somebody was rumoring that, which I can see them acquiring Arrowhead, right? Ember Labs, lock them down. Lock down a good fighting game dev like Arc System. Or Capcom. Again, Capcom makes a lot of sense because PlayStation owns Evo. Having one of the most popular fighting games under your belt, Street Fighter, that's a no-brainer. That goes hand in hand. But, this whole, PlayStation has great relationships, so they don't need to buy nothing, that's all bullshit. That's all bullshit, and I don't agree with none of that. No, PlayStation needs to buy something, and I'm not just talking about a dev team, a publisher. They have to, because this acquisition has given everyone the green light to say, all right, the buffet's open. The buffet's open. Grab your plate. The buffet's open. And I don't want PlayStation to be the last ones to get some food on their plate, so to speak. Take-Two, I think Take-Two would be a great fit too, but I don't, Take-Two has easily can ask 30 billion, and I don't see PlayStation. Sony bid 50 billion on Fox Studios. If it came down to it, they could spend the money. Man, I don't see listen, I hope I'm wrong. Maybe they do grab Take-Two. I just don't see PlayStation acquiring Take-Two, man. I just don't, man. I don't know. Like I don't see it. Take-Two wanting to be acquired, man. Straight up, I just don't see it. But that's a great point, True Bleed. Sony did bid 50 billion on Fox Studios. If it came down to it, they could spend. They could. Would they though? I don't think so. Philip K says, Persona, don't you think they have enough studios? When you say they, are you talking about PlayStation? If you're talking about PlayStation, I mean, PlayStation's got what, like 26 studios? 20, 25? I forget the exact number. Yeah, PlayStation. Listen, they got a lot of studios. Ain't nothing wrong with having more. Clearly, ain't nothing wrong with having more studios. Ain't nothing wrong with having more studios, man. Clearly, listen, this is my thing. Microsoft opened this door. If things were going status quo as usual, where people were getting timed exclusive deals here, timed exclusive deals there, Microsoft locked down 1 or 2 timed exclusive deals here, and like, we wouldn't be having this conversation. We really would not be having this conversation. 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, we were not having these acquisition talk conversations. Even when acquisitions did happen. Back in 2017, when Microsoft did that big announcement at E3 where they acquired, hold on, let's look at it. Hold up. You feel me? Microsoft E3 2017. Six years ago. This is it.
If you've got your hands.
Where is it? Am I in the right? Was it 2017 or 2018?
$22 games with console exclusivity on Xbox One.
Back when exclusives mattered.
Every one of these games will play great on each member of the Xbox One family, but of course, they will play best on Xbox One X. Up next is a game from a creative team that built their franchise on Xbox. In 2010,
Xbox One X is the smallest.
4K and a
Hold on, I gotta find the was it 2017 or E3 2018? It might have been E3 2018. Let me see. 2018. I might be thinking of the wrong year.
Decision we all made.
Oh yeah, this is it. This is it. Let me see. Yeah, I think this is it. Let me see.
We know that exclusive games from our Microsoft studios are what originally turned so many of us into Xbox fans. My team and I take our commitment to you seriously to make Xbox One the best place for you to play and for you to have the best games on the world's most powerful console. This is why we're increasing our investment in our existing franchises that you already love. And this is why we are amplifying our investment in new worlds that will deepen your love for gaming on Xbox. We embarked on a quest to find creative teams that have the mastery of our art form. And we found innovative game designers, master storytellers, exceptional world builders. And now, I'm proud to introduce the creation of a brand new Microsoft studio, The Initiative.
Now, this is 2018, right? Microsoft. See, and this is the crazy. It's crazy how we got here from here, right? Because Microsoft, they created a new studio, they were investing in their existing studios, and then, as you're going to see in a second, they bought more studios. Watch, what? I'm gonna let the whole thing play, and then we're gonna say.
Led by Daryl Gallagher, a visionary storyteller who has worked across some of the most iconic franchises for over 20 years. This new Santa Monica studio is building a team of world-class talent to create groundbreaking new game experiences. And next, I'm excited to welcome Undead Labs to Microsoft Studios. This studio caught our attention with their visionary approach to building a zombie survival franchise. They just released their second infestation, Into the World, and in the first 2 weeks, over 2 million of you have joined the fight to survive. Now, it's my distinct pleasure to announce that we have acquired Playground Games.
Yo, they announced like 5 acquisitions at this E3 2018. This shit was crazy.
This is one of the highest rated studios of this generation, celebrated for their incredible craftsmanship. Not only will Playground Games continue to work on Forza Horizon, they're bringing their open world expertise to an entirely new project. We can't wait to share more about that later. And
we now know that Playground Games was making Fable.
Fourth new studio, it's my personal honor to welcome Ninja Theory to Microsoft Studios.
Hey, yo, these dudes don't even know what game this, yo. I'm sorry, bro. I know I'm doing this show. I ain't trying to get on no fanboy shit. But, yo. Yo, what the fuck? Yo, why are you cheering? You ain't play no Hellblade. What you cheering for? Let me chill, man. All right, man. That's enough fanboy.
I met Nina and Tamim when we collaborated on Kung Fu Chaos back on the original Xbox. And a minute into playing Hellblade, you know you're in the hands of master storytellers who are fearless about telling bold cinematic stories. This is a team gifted in creating new franchises. And yes, we've got a fifth studio to announce. Compulsion Games. 2 years ago, we premiered a game we couldn't get out of our heads. A game that captivated us with its strong, fresh, and intense storytelling. We Happy Few is nearing its full release to gamers everywhere. So please help me in welcoming all of our new studios.
Now, see, this was like, okay, like, all right, this is Microsoft competing. They're buying other studios, developers, talent, stuff like that, whatever, blah, 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 right? These aren't publishers. These are all studios, like just, studio dev teams that have worked closely with Microsoft anyway. So it made sense. No one batted an eye to this. Nobody thought, oh, well, this is anti-consumer or whatever people like to say. No, this is competing. But see, let's run down this list and talk about why I think how we got here. How did we get from this, what we're seeing on the screen now? How did we get from that to here? I'll point it out for you, right? Respectfully, of course. 343 crashed and burned. Halo Infinite, absolute dog shit. A shell of his former self. No. What's the second studio? I can't see that. Is that that's the Initiative? Yeah, I think that's the Initiative. No, that's Initiative down here. Let's go to Initiative. Crash and burn. I can't, like, I forget what this is. This the Coalition. The Coalition. Pretty good. Making the Gears franchise, right? Although a lot of people aren't playing that Gears, but it is what it is. Turn 10. I forget which game they were making. I forget. Rare. Where's Everwild? We're still waiting on Everwild. to this day, we still don't know what Everwild is. Fail. Minecraft is obviously Minecraft. It's always going to do good. The Initiative. They're making Perfect Dark. Still haven't seen anything. Oh, Turn 10 Forza. Thank you. The Initiative. We still haven't seen anything from them except for that one first teaser trailer for Perfect Dark reboot. Still nothing. Undead Labs. Again, we saw a teaser trailer for State of Decay 3. Still nothing. Playground Games. We saw some gameplay this past Summer Game Fest for Fable. Looks all right. Still need to see more. Wasn't really a whole lot to go off of, but they showed something. Ninja Theory. They showed Hellblade 2. They've been showing this game since 2019, and we still don't have a date. And they've been working on this game for literally like 4 or 5 years now. Compulsion Games. We Happy Few crashed and burned. Nobody was playing that.
By joining us at Microsoft Studios, these 5 new teams will have the resources, the platform, and creative independence to take bigger risks, create even bolder worlds for you.
Truth is the...
See, now... I forgot the other studio. There was one more studio that they bought, man. What's that studio that made... Is it Divinity Original Sin? I forgot the name of that studio. They made New Worlds, Outer Worlds, or whatever. I forgot the name of that studio, but they acquired them as well. But a lot of these studios that they acquired... Let me go back to the picture. A lot of the studios that they acquired still couldn't compete with PlayStation or Nintendo. All the money invested in these studios still couldn't compete with PlayStation and Nintendo. PlayStation was still getting timed exclusive deals. Nintendo was still getting timed exclusive deals. People were still rather partnering with PlayStation and Nintendo. And Xbox was dipping further and further and further and further down into the depths of third place. Despite investing the money that they invested, not just into their existing studios, but into the new studios that they acquired on top of that, and still weren't able to see a turnaround when it came to console sales, a turnaround that came to game purchases, a turnaround when it came to Game Pass, a turnaround on anything. Nothing. And so for them, that's how we got here, where they're acquiring Bethesda, where they're acquiring the likes of an Activision, because that is the only way that they will able to get to the level of what a Nintendo and PlayStation is when it comes to making great games. But there's a caveat. They still need, and this is more so about PlayStation than Nintendo, they still need PlayStation to make sure that that ROI is making sense when they're sitting in front of the investors going through the numbers. But that's how we got here, in my opinion. Because the investment that was made here wasn't enough. The investment that was made here, it ain't make no dents. The investment that was made here ain't suffice. It's not enough to pump Game Pass. It's not enough to get sales. It's not enough to move the needle. You gotta be more extreme. That's how we got here. So with looking at that investment and getting to where we are now, this is why Microsoft has been relegated to having to purchase the industry to compete. Because this is the only way they can. Or at least this is how the management sees the only way they can, at least rather quickly. buy something that's already ready made as opposed to building something from the ground up. So Microsoft opened this door because looking at these acquisitions, nobody batting an eye. Nobody was following court cases. There was no FTC intervention. No, because you're buying studios, you're building them up supposedly, getting more talent, and you're investing in. Okay, fine. No harm, no foul. Fast forward to where we are now. It's a totally different ball game. And Microsoft opened this door because they're the ones buying publishers. So from the perspective of PlayStation, I'm looking at it as, listen, consolidation bad, yes. But it's inevitable. It's inevitable. And I would much rather PlayStation get a piece of the pie than be left out starving. And obviously, I mean that figuratively. Like, obviously, PlayStation is going to be starving because they, have great studios and great games. But with where we're at in this industry, and where we're at once this deal officially closes and we move on, in my opinion, PlayStation needs to get a piece of that pie before it gets gobbled up. Because believe you and me, it's going to get gobbled up. If you think this is it, nah, it's going to get gobbled up. It's inevitable. Accept it. PlayStation's just got to move around it and get their piece. And I think that their pieces are either Square and Capcom, either both or one or the other. That's it. And that's where we're at. And so for PlayStation, I'm looking at this as, listen, get your ducats, keep making great games, lock down a publisher, and just keep investing in studios and getting great studios and great talent, and get your cornerstone, get your corner piece, and go on about your day. That's it. Still be able to make deals with some other publishers here and there if you can, to keep that brand strong and give people a reason to buy PlayStation. Obviously, there are reasons, but I'm saying from that third-party perspective, still make those deals, build those partnerships and things like that, like they've been doing. Business as usual, the status quo, but just get throw a little pie, get the pie and put it in the goddamn fridge. Grab you a slice of the pie. Remember back in the day? Yeah, let me talk to y'all for a second. Remember back in the day? I don't know if y'all did this. I did this back in the day. Remember like barbecues way back in the day? Like way back in the day when you was a kid, or even now, like you probably still do it now. Remember back in the day with barbecues where when the food got put out, everybody could start making their plates. You would make you a side plate for later. So you would, put the mac and cheese on there, put the ribs, put the burger, whatever, put the collard greens, the potato salad, whatever. Fill you up a nice plate. Throw it in the back of the fridge, and that's your plate for tomorrow or later or whatever. So that, because all the good shit gonna be gone, because people gonna be taking they to-go plates and all this other stuff. And then you make you a plate for the right now, the mac and cheese, the ribs and all that stuff. PlayStation gotta get them a side plate, man. Straight up. Give them a nice little side plate. And I stand by that, man. Yo, Damien, see, there you go. Leach said he did that. Yup. Damien said, yup. She said you do that today. Yo, listen, if I'm at a barbecue, or if it's like on barbecue I'm holding or whatever, you best believe that side plate in the fridge, in the back of the fridge too, behind the milk. Got to put it behind the milk. Or put it in the drawer, the refrigerator drawer. You feel me? You got to throw that in there, man. Let it just chill. Listen, and like I said, I'm not looking at listen, I've said this too, emotional spending or just buying things off of emotions. No, I definitely think PlayStation should make the acquisitions that make sense to them. right? What makes sense to the brand? What's going to strengthen the brand? What's going to push the brand forward and keep PlayStation in the #1 spot? That is what acquisitions I want PlayStation to make. I just hope that acquisition is Square or Capcom. And listen, to the people saying, "Oh, well, I thought you said acquisitions were wrong." They are. Consolidation of this level is only going to spell chaos. Not chaos, not that extreme. It's only going to spell, fuck it, chaos. We're going to say chaos. It's only going to spell chaos. But once again, the door's open. So you can either cry about it or walk through it. In this case, PlayStation walked through the damn door. It is what it is. And just go on about your day. That's it. Chaos or Doom. Shout out to Viper or Doom. Let me get these super chats. Yo, D-Dog, what's good, man? Shout out to you, man. Appreciate you for the super chat. It says, doesn't Microsoft have an 18-month contract rule for their employees? I wonder if they'll if that'll affect COD's development. I mean, unless the people leave before the acquisition is truly in place, like before it's official, or once the acquisition happens, all employees might be required to sign a new contract, and that 18-month clause might be in the contract, and that's where developers make their decision of, do I want to stay and be withhold to that contract or not? Which I think that's most likely what will happen. Once they get acquired, there might be a new clause or new contract or something like that that developers will have to sign. I'm sure there's going to be a bunch of salary renegotiations, because I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of people that might want to leave, but they can't afford to lose. So you might get some salary renegotiations. Listen, it's going to be a lot of things, I think, happening once this acquisition is fully done, where it's going to be a lot. Like, they're going to have their hands full for quite a while dealing with that stuff. Corey says, I don't think that buying a publisher is the right move for Sony. I think the right move is to make more high quality dev team purchases and getting these teams to work on new IPs. See, but the thing is, oh, you mean that? Okay, I thought you meant like 18 months, where like they're locked to working on it 18 months. I mean, hey, they might change that. But Corey, for your thing, where is it? Oh, it says, I don't think that buying a publisher is the right move for Sony. I think, yeah, but see, the thing is, they can buy a publisher and still invest in high quality dev teams. Like, both of those things can exist at the same time. Just because you buy a publisher doesn't mean you stop investing in, developer teams and all that stuff. Like, when you see, here's the thing that I think people forget, right? When it comes to PlayStation has their hands in a lot of pots, right? Especially gaming wise. PlayStation has the China Hero Project, which has a myriad of developers that are making a ton of games for PlayStation. They now have the, I think it's India Hero Project, where a lot of Indian developer teams are going to be coming about and making games for PlayStation. They've got, the games as a service games, where they're partnering with certain people and have things being worked on as well. They got their first party teams that are working on 2 projects or more. There's a lot of things at PlayStation being worked on right now, right? I'm pretty sure they got timed exclusive deals and other partnerships and things like that that's being worked out right now for the next coming fiscal year as well. So there's a lot of things that's being worked on, but just because that's happening doesn't mean that they still don't look and pay attention to the optics of the situation that's before them, which is this massive acquisition from that Microsoft is making, and moving accordingly, right? All of those things, them having their hands in all those pots, them investing in teams and partnerships and things like that, all of that can happen at the same time while they vet the best publisher to lock down under their umbrella. All of that can happen at the same time, right? Business is not, it's not analog, it's it can go both ways. My point is that if you purchase a publisher, then that publisher will remain multi-platform. There's no way Sony can allow Microsoft down that that lost leader strategy hole. I don't think. Okay, I see what you're saying, Corey. My response to that, Corey, is this is the business now, man. This is the business we're in. I'm telling you, if I believe, this is what I believe. I'm not saying this is facts or anything, and I don't have any type of insider information. But I believe that PlayStation needs to move accordingly to how this industry is shifting. They can still do things like status quo with how they've been doing things that's been keeping them the leader. But the thing is that that number one spot is being threatened because you have other players in the game that are buying the studios that have been keeping you at the number one spot. Activision is a contributor to why PlayStation is number one in revenue, number one spot when it comes to consoles sold and things like that. That is interrupting the status quo of how PlayStation runs their business. Microsoft has just disrupted that, right? If Microsoft can easily disrupt that, so can other players like the Amazons, the Googles, and things like that. So when you have those type of players in the ecosystem now, they are disrupting how the ecosystem normally goes. Like Microsoft is that disruptor. PlayStation needs to adjust. And again, this is my opinion. PlayStation needs to adjust and move accordingly so that it can maintain that number one spot. Because right now, Microsoft is being a disruptor. They're disrupting the cash flow. They're disrupting the partnership. They're disrupting the money. PlayStation needs to adjust and move accordingly. Yo, Viper, man, appreciate you for the super chat, man. Oh, I got your members. Let me read your message too. Viper says, 27 months. Viper is a member on the channel. Viper, you know I appreciate you, bro. Always. Viper says, we got to watch this company fall flat on its face. The quality is going to dip something fierce. I agree with that. I do think that the quality is going to suffer quite a bit. I believe that. Like, truly, I believe that, Viper. And appreciate Viper for the super chat. He says, Sony is going to be left behind if they don't. It's like musical chairs. Soon there won't be any chairs. Exactly. That's a great analogy, Viper. Right now, we're playing musical chairs. The music playing, once it stops, will there be a chair for Sony to sit on? And that chair being a publisher. In my analogy, at least. Yo, Kendra in the building. Kendra, what's good? Appreciate you, Kendra, coming through, rocking out. This was a great conversation, man. Capcom and Square. Listen, sick. Capcom Square, man. That's where my head is at. Like 100%. I think PlayStation can lock both of those studios down. Those publishers down and be good. Be straight good. They got the fighters, they got the RPG, they got their first party studios, they got their first person shooters that's being made. Again, their piece of that market is solid, good, and we can just keep on flowing. Let's go on about our day. Everything else being bought. All right, cool, good. We got what we want. We cool. Oh, and CD Projekt Red for their PC platform. See, I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying that they wouldn't be acquired. It would be interesting to see if PlayStation gets First of all, y'all know how I feel about CD Projekt Red. I feel like this is an overhyped studio, in my opinion. Trying to compare them to Naughty Dog. You crazy. But I can admit that, CD Projekt Red definitely sells a lot of copies, and they got a lot of love within the industry. So I think that would make sense in terms of like the Western style RPGs. I think CD Projekt Red would be a good get for PlayStation as well. John Donuts, man, appreciate you for super chat. He says, the fact is established IP matters. PlayStation can't afford to not have some of these big IPs locked down in their house. Exactly, Persona. They can do both, make new internal IPs, but they need those big IPs. Yeah, so I'm saying, they need to lock down those established IPs. Lock down the publishers that has these catalog of established IPs. Could you imagine, locking down Square and getting a Chrono Cross or Chrono Trigger remake? Getting locking down Capcom and PlayStation announces a Dino Crisis remake or a brand new game in the series or whatever, you know, rival schools or something like that, right? Obviously, that stuff is pipe dreams, but the thing is that the catalogs that these publishers have under their belts is lucrative enough to where it would make sense for PlayStation to add those IPs to their repertoire because it built. First off, a lot of these games are synonymous with PlayStation already. Final Fantasy synonymous with PlayStation. A lot of RPGs are synonymous with PlayStation and Nintendo as well. More so Nintendo now with some of these RPGs, but PlayStation still has a lot of that synonymous energy as well. When you look at Capcom, a lot of these games are synonymous with PlayStation. Street Fighter, Resident Evil, very synonymous with PlayStation. Dragon's Dogma, right? Dragon's Dogma 2, right? You know, these things have a lot of are very synonymous with PlayStation, so it would make sense. Bandai Namco wouldn't be a bad get either, I think, as well. And Bandai Namco has a lot of those anime IPs and stuff like that locked down under their belt. And with PlayStation owning Crunchyroll and all these other things, you could capitalize off that anime market. There's a lot of ways PlayStation can go with this, right? And then with Bandai, I think, no, Kodokawa owns From Software. But, you know, if you were to get like From Software, Bandai or something like that, and like a Square or something, right? Although they already invested in Kodokawa, so I don't see them buying out Kodokawa to get From Software. I think that relationship is locked in. You know, I think Sega is weird to me, right? Because I feel like with Sega is, they look like they're leaning more towards, well, no, because Atlas. Yeah, no, right, no. Yeah, PlayStation, yeah. Atlas, yeah. Sega would make sense for Atlas, honestly. Like, if PlayStation could buy Atlas from Sega, I would rather them do that than buy Sega outright. Yeah, I know Sonic is still super popular and all that stuff, but I think locking down that Persona franchise and some of those other RPGs and stuff, I know for me personally, I wouldn't want that, but I know Sonic still sells like gangbusters, so it probably would make more sense to lock down Sonic. I mean, or lock down Sega as a whole. They need a publisher that can push out games on a consistent yearly basis. Absolutely, the shape they do. Corey says, Persona, no, my opposition to purchasing a publisher, Square and Capcom, is that Sony cannot afford to eat the loss of removing those games from other platforms. They will remain multi-platform. It depends. What loss are we talking about? Most games that release from Square are exclusive to PlayStation or only released on PlayStation and Nintendo and probably PC. Whatever acquisition PlayStation does, those games would still be releasing on PC as well. PlayStation wouldn't take those games away from like PC, and I could even see PlayStation playing buddy with Nintendo and saying, hey, look, you know, if they were to get the likes of a Square, you know, we'll put these games on you know, some of the smaller games on Nintendo. On Nintendo. Yeah, we'll put some of these smaller games on Nintendo, right? But when you look at a lot of the games that are releasing on PlayStation from these studios, they're not releasing on Nintendo anyway, and the sales for them on Xbox are abysmal. So really and truly, it's PC and PlayStation that carries the sales of a lot of these games already, and to a lesser degree, Nintendo when it comes to the RPGs from Square and some of the other games releasing from Capcom as well. So I don't really see that much of a loss being had when majority of the games selling on PlayStation and PC anyway. PlayStation wouldn't remove those from PC. I think PlayStation would keep them on PC. I mean, so what? I mean, PlayStation is doing that anyway with their own first-party games, where these games are going to PC already. So, I mean, it is what it is with that, you know? Like, that's just something that we would have to accept. Yeah, that's a good point, Dark Prince. Final Fantasy XIV would give more recurring revenue, and we know Final Fantasy XIV is one of the most popular MMOs on PC right now. Yeah, like that could be the World of Warcraft rival. But we'll see. We'll see what happens, man. At the end of the day, guys, you know, this is the way the industry is heading. We're not finished, right? This is only the beginning. Shout out to Jamil, man. Uppercase Chase. When it said that the game's still abysmal on Xbox, where else is this being detailed besides UK all box charts? I'm asking because I don't know. Look at MPDs. But what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, yo, listen. At the end of the day, guys, this is the way the industry is going. I know it may suck for some people, but it's something that is gonna happen. You know, something that's happening. It's gonna continue to happen. Yo, J-Lu, what's good, man? And you know, Nintendo and PlayStation, Xbox, they're not the only players in the game no more. And Microsoft just opened Pandora's box. They opened that door wide open. Now we really going to see acquisition wars. And I'm not just talking with PlayStation. I'm talking the big wigs. But, you know, it is what it is. We'll just sit. I'm just sit on the sidelines and we'll see how this plays out, man. It'd be interesting to see how this plays out, honestly. D-Doc, man, appreciate you for the super chat, bro. He says, yo, I just thought, is there any possibility Sony gets bought by someone? That would twist ish up. That could be a possibility as well, because Sony is valued, I think, like 150 billion. I don't see Sony outright being bought. I can see them merging with somebody, and the merge that makes the most sense to me, just to be petty, Apple. PlayStation would have merged and anybody merge with Apple. You feel me? Apple's pockets are just or not, probably not as deep. Let me see what you know what, let's do Google Finance. I'm curious. I gotta see what Apple's valuation is at. I don't know what their valuation is at right now. Let me see. Apple market cap. Whoa. Apple's market cap is 3 trillion? Whoa. I didn't know that. I thought it would have been like 2 trillion or something like that. I really did not know that. Whoa. Okay. 3 trillion. Yo, fuck it. Apple. Yo, straight up. Like, yo, Apple merged with PlayStation merges with Apple and becomes becomes under the Apple umbrella. They now have the piggy bank to really get into that acquisition war bullshit. Like, oh, I take you now, your ass coming with me. You feel me? Type shit. Hey, yo, I ain't gonna lie. If PlayStation was to merge with Apple, that would be... Yeah, I would do a podcast the moment that news dropped. I'd do a podcast. Like, yo, what? It's an IP war, though, more than publisher. Yeah, no, it's definitely an IP war, DC. You're right about that. Apple's at 3 trillion. Woo! Hey, yo. Oh, yeah, Amazon. Get those AWS cloud servers. Oh, hold up. Hold up. Hold up, Mr. Glass. Hold up. Get them AWS servers, cloud servers, and push it. And AWS, Azure, obviously Azure is very popular both in obviously the entertainment world, but also in the business world. But AWS is very, very popular as well. It's up there too. Like, it definitely rivals Azure. Like AWS and Azure, they rival each other very, very closely. So I could definitely see, and Amazon is at 1.3 trillion market cap. Whew. Wow. I would prefer Apple though, because Apple is really good with has really good software and really good hardware building and stuff like that. They're really good at that stuff. So I would definitely prefer Apple over Amazon in my opinion, but Amazon's got those cloud servers which might be more appealing. But then again, I don't see Amazon just collapse Luna into PlayStation Plus, and it just becomes PlayStation Plus like on their shit as well. I don't know, like I wouldn't want them to dissolve that. So that would be like where the thing is. PSN is on AWS and it's solid. Oh, it is. All right, so yeah, that might be a good point as well. I can see Apple. I can see Apple more than Amazon though, but that would be crazy. Like that would be like really. Oh yeah, Apple would raise PlayStation prices, but I also think they would actually like. So if Apple was at the helm of like a PlayStation 6 design, I think it would also be a little bit more stronger. Like the price, obviously, I think would get raised as well, but I think it would be a little bit stronger as well. And but you got to remember, man, PlayStation's brand is very, very strong. Apple's brand and that brand loyalty is very, very strong as well with its fan base. You get those two together, people will buy. If it's a good product, people will buy it. Oh yeah, we going back to PS3 days, Brian East. $600 PlayStation 6. I'm not entertaining that Apple BS. Hey, yo, it's just a conversation, Barry, man. Listen, at the end of the day, man, like, you know, it is what it is, man. I don't think anybody would acquire PlayStation or PlayStation would do that, but I could, you know, a merger would be, you know, it would be interesting to see if they were to do something like that. But, nah, I think PlayStation's in good hands. Look what Xbox did to us. We talk about Apple and PlayStation merger. Hey, hey, yo, Barry, that's facts, bro. Hey, yo, you know what, Barry, you right. You absolutely right, man. Get off that bullshit. We done with that. We done. Nah, but this was because oh nah, shout out to D-Dog. D-Dog is the one that brought up the conversation though. So shout out to D-Dog. I ain't gonna we were just entertaining it, man. But yo, man, listen, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this show. Episode 238 of When Persona Speaks. If you did enjoy the show, you know, hit the like button, subscribe. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already, your boy is back, man. We definitely back, man. So, you know, I definitely appreciate everybody, you know, rocking out with me, sticking with me, excuse me. And, you know, just holding it down with me, man. You know, I know my channel is small, but you know, I'm very grateful for the community of people that I have, you know, the people that come through and rock out with me, listen to my channel, subscribe, hit the like button, you know, super chat, members, shares the stream out, man. I'm really appreciative for my community of supporters, man. It really means a lot to me. And, you know, your boy is here, man. We definitely going to chop it up some more. I am going to be dropping my review for, Final Fantasy 16 this weekend, so definitely be on the lookout for that. If you haven't already, definitely check out Bari's review for Final Fantasy 16, and Bari talked about the Activision Blizzard deal today as well, and his fear with it when it comes to Call of Duty. He talked about that today. He put out a We Gonna Talk Light. Definitely check that out, man. The links to his channel are in the description. Also, big shout out to Plus on Block podcast, man, with Dre and Upchuck Gaming. You feel me? They did their first show back this past Sunday. It was a great show. Definitely go subscribe to their YouTube channel. The link to that is in the description. They had took a little hiatus, but they back. Super excited, man. Can't wait. You know, so glad to see the boys back, man, talking about these fighting games and all fighting game news, man. Definitely, you know, appreciate that, man. What people saying in the chat. Great show. Yeah, definitely, man. I'm glad everybody enjoyed the show, man. You know, I'm glad y'all enjoyed the show. It was a great turnout, man. Everybody was, you know, chill. Everybody rocking out. Speaking of games, Stella Cheeks is looking better every time I see it. Yo, listen, I don't know where Upshift is with this game, man. I need this game. Upshift, when you gonna give me the date for this Stellar Blade? Yo, listen, when Stellar Blade get a release date, I'm taking a week off from work. I'm platinum in this game. You understand? I don't care if I gotta replay this game 4 times on the hardest difficulty. I'm platinum in Stellar Blade or Stellar Yams. Shout out to Stone. I'm platinum in Stellar Yams. 100%. I'm speaking that into existence. Speaking of platinums, yo, man, I went back and I went back and I've been playing through the Uncharted games again. I never got the platinums in the Uncharted games. So I was like, you know what? Let me go back and get those platinums. So I'm playing through. I got Uncharted 2's platinum over the weekend. I'm gonna get Uncharted 3's platinum throughout this week. I should have it by like the end of the weekend of this weekend, and then I'm gonna get Uncharted 1 platinum, and I should have that by the end of next weekend or whatever. I'm trying to get 5 platinums by the end of July. I'm working on the second one now, and then the third one will be Uncharted 4, and then Final Fantasy 6. I'm going back to Final Fantasy 6. I'm gonna platinum that. I gotta do 2 playthroughs because I know I missed a couple of the chests. So, but Final Fantasy 6 story is not that long, so I should be able to yeah, why I say upshift? Yeah, shift up. Thank you, James. So yeah, they're busy working on their mobile game, Destiny's Child. But yeah, man, listen, man, I appreciate y'all so much. Everyone's still stumped by the Stitches PSX post, PXS. Listen, man, yo, let me say this before I get up out of here. Yo, I'm sick of these insiders with that breadcrumb bullshit, man. Yo, it's like we're children. Like, yo, listen, we are all adults. Either put the information out or shut the hell up. Let us speculate. You know, like either put it out or shut up, man. That's where I'm at, man. Put the information out or shut up. Straight up. Breadcrumb bullshit, man. It's annoying. I don't listen to them, man. I don't pay attention to them, man. But it's just like, yo, man. Like, cause what's the name? Shout out to J-Dub, because J-Dub tagged me in it. Because I don't follow the Stitch. I don't follow Robinson. I don't follow none of them insiders, man. Well, do I follow one inside? I think I probably follow one. But no, yeah, I do. Millie. She's very credible and she cute. So, you feel me? Like, I follow her. And she's been very credible when it comes to her information. But yeah, that's it, man. I ain't following no other insiders, man. You feel me? Listen, man. Hey, let me chill. But yo, listen, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. If you did, like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate you guys so much for rocking out with me. I hope you enjoyed the conversation. To anybody that watches this later on the upload, I hope you enjoy. Definitely leave a comment. Let me know what's your thoughts on the conversation. And yeah, man, I'll see you guys next Monday, same time, 5:30. Episode of Speaks, episode 239. And yeah, guys, I appreciate y'all. It's been your boy Persona. I'm out, guys.